Well, let's start this rant off right. I fucking hate this country.
Whoa. We can't say that. All right, something is seriously wrong with America, and now I am covering a video from a homestead journey. Let's get into it.
So you may have noticed that people are kind of at that point where they feel like, the straw that broke the camel's back, like they can't take it anymore. Okay, if it's not one thing or another, it's the rent increases, it's the grocery bills, it's the utility bills, insurance, everything you do, everything that you look at, everything you go to pay. I mean, it's increase after increase. I know I'm seeing it with my property taxes, my water bill, my electricity. I mean, everything just keeps going up. Groceries, we try and keep it, under $100 a week, but that's really becoming a stretch nowadays. People are snapping, and not because they are weak, but because they're feeling suffocated. There is too much pressure. There's so much going on. And when you're working full time and you are doing a side hustle, and then you barely have any time for yourself, and you're not making ends meet, and you feel like you can't even work towards the American dream, and you're not being able to take part of the things that were traditional milestones for previous generations. Right now, they just feel more and more out of reach. People are just so exhausted, and they are crashing out about it. That's like a new term that's been going around.
So basically, the American people are getting, being boxed in slowly and developing fatigue of doing this prolonged effort to stay afloat, because the old saying is everyone is one paycheck away from being homeless. So you keep working these extensive hours and you keep paying the same bills. You keep trying to save every now and then, but then something comes up and now you're back to square one. And this repeats year after year after year. Next thing you know, you start in your teens. Now you're in your early 20s. Now you're in your early 30s. And now you're 40, 50. And it's like you've done nothing but just become robbed. It feels like your entire adult life was robbed. The moment you moved out of your parents' house was the moment you stepped into slavery. And now people are just tired because it doesn't get better. It just keeps getting worse and worse. And just when you think you have a break, now we have all this political news, and then your life is deeply fucked.
Check out these videos. Look how people are reacting to what's going on here in the United States.
As a younger millennial, I'm really beginning to question when we're going to call it a day. I know the vast majority of us have woken up, thankfully, and we've realized that we've been sold a lie pretty much our entire lives, and that this American dream is it's not attainable. It's not attainable. It was attainable for the older generations. As we know, they were able to work their 40 hours a week and reap the benefits. Whereas we have to work 2 to 3 jobs just to achieve the same results. And I'm in a position where realistically, I will have to get a second job in order to better my situation. Potentially even maybe get a third to help pay down my debt. And I'm not doing it. I'm not participating in this. I'm not doing it. I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted. I've worked since I was 14 years old. I think most millennials are in the same boat. We've been working forever and we're burnt out. There's been many phases throughout my life where I've had to work multiple jobs just to get by. Just to get by. And I have nothing to show for it. I don't have a house. My car, I've been driving the same car since I was in college. So 10 years, over 10 years. It's falling apart. I can barely afford groceries. I'm living with my parents because I can't afford to rent on my own. People say, oh, we'll just get roommates. I'm 30 years old. I shouldn't have to live with fucking roommates. I'm an adult. I was able to live on my own before. Not anymore, though.
So here's the thing. So back when I'm going to go all the way back to when I was 15. Okay? As a Gen Z. When I was 15, I automatically already knew that the entire system was a scam, and I didn't want to play the game. But I had to play the game for a little bit. So I didn't know exactly what I was doing. So when I got to 17, I moved out and got to college through scholarships and whatever opportunity that I could, dig up for myself. And as I was going through school, I was just using those 4 years in school just to kind of figure things out, or maybe just try to plan for something, because I did not want to go into the corporate world or anything and be stuck in this endless shitty cycle. My first year of college, I did not want to get a job. Not saying that I'm lazy, but listen, my life turned out 100 times better just doing my own thing. So when I have never had more than one job, but I seriously feel for the people that had to have multiple jobs to survive. But one, I did not want to have more than one job because I was already going to school and had one job. And then two, after I graduated, I was able to get a pretty good salary job, but it wasn't a traditional job. I worked for a man who had his own company, and he was a good man, and it was in the oil field. So this was my first chance to buy my first house. I almost purchased my very first home as a fresh grad out of college. And the thing is, I really thought I was doing it. Man, I had everything together. I had the good paychecks, and then the only thing I needed help was a down payment. And you want to know who helped me with my down payment? My boss, because my boss was a good man. Now, the mistake that I made was I went through a realtor named Rocket Morgan that I saw on TV at the time. Now, please don't give me shit for it because I was young. This was a few years ago, and I didn't understand certain things, not to trust certain companies on TV, but things probably would have went smoother if I would have just went through the bank. But no, I went through Rocket Mortgage, and let's just say that I tried to buy 3 houses. Now, not all at once, but I kept having to move to a new house. So one, I really wanted this one house. I had the money, I had the down payment, everything. They made it so complicated for me just to be able to buy this house. Okay? Now, they lied to me and said that this was going to be just a fixed down payment. No. Every day they kept asking for a bank statement, or every week it was a bank statement. And then every time I look at the price for, the down payment, it kept going up. It kept going up until it passed my budget. And so what I had to do was go to another house. And then when I was doing the appraisal thing, guess what? They came up with these little dumb things like you need to paint paint the garage. The paint on the garage. You can't buy the house unless the garage is painted, which is going to be a few extra grand. Or something as stupid as you need to do a project where the concrete, when you have like the concrete slab or like this concrete porch before you get in the house, it needs to be covered because of rain. And then the third house, the last house, it was a big house. It was a 5-bedroom house with its own garage, yard, front yard, backyard, basement, kitchen, everything. 5 rooms. And guess what? They're like, well, you're going to have to spend 25 grand to redo the roof, the roof. You know how much money I spent having to sit here and go from house to house to house just to be able to close down a house? This was the biggest. I feel like I got hassled trying to get a house. Had the money, the mortgage was going to be 200 something USD a month. and it just felt like I could not get the house. So you know what I did? I just gave up. And after that terrible experience, I knew firsthand that all this shit was just it was bullshit, and I just couldn't. I lost faith in the country the moment when I tried to do something normal, and I had all these obstacles and hoops. And then I find out that the house that I could have owned end up few years going up 7x. 7x. That would have been a big asset. You know what I could have done with close to $1 million USD in investment? And you know what? The thing is, I probably would have been screwed, you know, with everything going up, because now I'm hearing about mortgages going up, property taxes going up to the point where it's worse or just about as bad as renting an apartment. I mean, a mortgage is supposed to be cheaper than, you know, cheaper than renting an apartment. Oh, man.
All of our clothes are plastic. All of our food is poisonous. It's toxic, and we're paying top dollar for it. I don't have health care because when I was laid off, obviously I lost my insurance, and I found a way to work for myself, but I can't afford health care. If I do need something, I'm paying out of pocket. The list just goes, it's never ending. And I think we're all just at a point where we're done. We're exhausted. I seek seclusion at this point. I want to go like live off grid somewhere and just never talk to a soul again. I'll get a tiny home and just live in the woods. I want to be left the alone. I don't care anymore. I just don't care anymore. And I'm like, at what point do we like band together and try to fix this? Or what? Or do I just, do I give up and just go get my tiny home in the woods? I don't know. Let me know what you think.
No one's ever going to do anything. Nothing's ever going to be fixed. It's just the system's going to stay the same, or as it always been. And it's only going to get worse until people are basically in chains, metaphorically. But that's it. No one has had any incentive to do any changes. The only people that are actually doing something about it are simply just leaving society or moving abroad. I had other reasons to move abroad. I had so many reasons to move abroad. Whether it was a business opportunity, my own personal interests, and just the fact that I didn't want to live in the US. I did not want to live in the US because not only the prices and the cost of living, but just the overall feeling. It just feels like you're in a rat cage. It's like you can't do things freely, like you can here in the Philippines. You can't go anywhere without having to drive. And everybody knows that your vehicle is always going to be your liability. It's never an asset because it always depreciates over time. There's always going to be problems, issues, because they make the newer vehicles nowadays, to break down easily. I remember one year I had a 2022 vehicle, a Dodge Ram, and in the few months there was already something wrong with it. And then my other coworkers, when they had like year 2022 vehicles or year 2023 vehicles without under 10k miles, ball joint, stuff like that, just nothing lasts long enough. Nothing lasts long. The newer vehicles don't last long. The houses, don't even get me started on houses. Houses back in the day used to be made solid. Nowadays, houses are made out of cardboard. So you might as well stay in a cardboard box for a living. You're paying 2,000 for a mortgage. You're paying $500,000 for a cardboard box. Oof.
Well, let's start this rant off right. I fucking hate this country.
Whoa. We can't say that. We cannot say that. Listen here, sir. We cannot say that. Now, I understand the sentiment, but we can't say that, okay? All right? But I understand the feeling, man. Everyone's going to have their own opinions. Listen, people that are suffering and dealing with so much stuff are going to have these feelings. People that are suffering, they have every right to dislike, to hate, to disassociate with a certain place. Nobody owes loyalty to anything or anyone. If your quality of life is not great and it's been intentionally made to not be great, what makes you think that you should just be loyal to it? Should you just blind loyalty? Are we dogs? Are we slaves? Should we just be blindly loyal to a place? Listen, when I figured out that my quality of life became X amount more, I would say when I found out that my life became better, the quality of life, it made me reflect back on how much I was missing when I was in the US. I have healthier food here. I got better food choices. I have free range, free roam. I can go anywhere that I need to go or want to go without spending an arm and a leg. I don't have to work 24 hours a day. I can sleep in and get the proper amounts of sleep. I can go out and not have to worry about running into angry people. I don't have to worry about getting assaulted, getting robbed, shot, gun violence. I don't have to worry about being judged. I can wear my style. I don't have to worry about paying so many subscriptions just to survive out here. I pay the basics: rent, water, electric, and then Wi-Fi, because I pay for the stuff that I use. I don't pay for stupid shit like insurance. All these useless subscriptions just to be able to be entertained. No, a lot of the things that I use are free and easily accessible.
One who has considered himself a patriot their whole life and supported their country that hates it here. I hate it here. I'm about to lose my shit. Only income for a family of 5. I break my back, work 2 jobs when I have to, work side jobs. I make pretty good money as a carpenter for the union. Believe it or not, over $100,000 a year where in the area where I live in, and it doesn't mean shit. Can't buy a house because I can't afford a $4,000 a month mortgage payment. What makes this the greatest country? Because I'm about to flip out. I can't do it anymore. I can't do it. I got nothing to look forward to but paying bills and dying. Meanwhile, these can fucking rip off the country, get free housing, free food, this and that, and I'm over here breaking my back to even have Christmas or do anything. And this is the greatest country in the world. It's not. I can't do it anymore. I cannot be the only one who's literally about to just go buck wild crazy and do some drastic ass shit and just say f it all.
So please tell me how.
So I'm not going to say I hate the country. I'm not going to say that. I'm just going to say that I feel the sentiment and I understand other people's feelings, and I'm not going to judge anyone for having their feelings. Because you know what? The type of people who say that they hate a place, even though they can't afford to leave, there's always someone on the other side saying, well, get the F out. And it's like, you going to buy their plane ticket? You're going to buy their plane ticket? Okay. It's okay to hate where you are, but talking and voicing your opinions is part of the change, you know. Might as well do something rather than do nothing. But one thing I will say, one of the biggest issues that I notice in the U.S. is the fact that not only is just a state, but depending on where you live in the state. See, I had a lot of different types of jobs where I would move to a city or a town, and if when I find a job that pays six figures, guess what? Everything in that town is marked up. Versus if you go to another town where the jobs only pay 50K a month, or not 50K a month, 50K a year, or 20, 30K a year, everything's affordable. But if you live in a town or a city where most of the jobs pay you $30 an hour or more, and you make 100K a year, rent goes up, groceries are up, everything is expensive, and and it makes it worse for the people that are working just retail jobs that are not making six figures, because they have to barely survive, while people that are making six figures are able to get by. But they do this on purpose because they want to be able to get the maximum amount of money. That's just as bad as when we're here in the Philippines and there's a tsunami. So because there's a tsunami, all the gas stations decided to 5 times the gas prices. When we're in the middle of a crisis, we're going to charge people 5 times more than the regular price. Some scummy bullshit, right?
It makes any freaking sense that as a stay-at-home mom, I had $500 in food stamps, I had health insurance for my entire family, and we got $7,000 back on taxes. I go back to work, I lose my food stamps, I lose my health insurance, and we're only getting $100 back on taxes. And this is why people don't want to work, because why am I working my butt off and losing all that stuff and still living paycheck to paycheck when I was living paycheck to paycheck before, but I at least had food stamps and health insurance and got $7,000 back? Yeah, how's that math then?
What? You mean you had what? First of all, what did you do with all that money in the first place? Because most people don't make that much. People don't get all those benefits or the breaks, those kind of breaks. But here's the thing, man. I don't want to hate on anyone who uses benefits and everything, but I'm okay with people that use these benefits if they absolutely need them. But oh man, it's such a very not a very slippery slope, but some people just don't need those benefits. Because like as soon as they lose them, then they go with the complaining and everything. But it should only be for people who absolutely need them. Okay? Not people who just wants to try to get like a discounted lifestyle. All right?
Yeah.
So I've got to pay my taxes, make sure they get it on time so I don't get in trouble. And I got to make sure I drive the speed limit. And I got to make sure I'm on time to work every day. And I got to make sure I put in enough hours at work. I got to make sure that I reach a certain age before retiring. I got to make sure that I have enough money in my 401k to survive. I got to make sure that I make $114,000 as a single adult in New York State to make sure that I survive. But they and take all of our money to pay people to. And if they don't buy them, but make sure you pay your taxes.
So
You can kind of draw the dots of what he's saying, which I won't ever mention on this channel because, you know, I'm not trying to get on the other side of the internet, okay? So we're just going to keep it nice and just in this niche, okay?
can somebody please explain something to me? What the fuck is going on with energy in Virginia? Because something to me is just not making sense. Every single electric bill I'm getting is looking like this. This is how all my electric bills are looking. How is it humanly possible that I was using 1,500 and less kilowatts every single month in 2025, 2024, and 2023?
Holy shit. I have never in my life had an electric bill that was over $70. Okay, my cheapest electric bill was $20. But here's the thing: my father lives in the US, and in the town or the city that he lives, they have data centers. And in those data centers, everybody's utility bills have been going up. Now I have him as a source because he's got a good position at his job. He's going to retire. He's going to be fine. But everybody else around him is hurting. And I don't know what the hell's going on. But they're basically putting these data centers there and then just milking the people. It's already bad enough they're struggling, but they're just passing the bill and just milking the residents. Some evil shit.
But somehow I'm using 5,000 kilowatts of energy now in 5,000, 4,000, 4,000, 4,000 the last 4 months. Something doesn't make sense, bro. And every time I call Dominion Energy, they tell me that I'm tripping. I need somebody to help me understand how a human can use 5,000 kilowatts when I'm never home. Never home. I don't use TV. I don't use heat. I don't understand. But this is getting to the point where I can't I don't know what to do with this shit, bro. Somebody help me.
All right, we're going to cut it right there. All right, I'm just going to cut it off right there. If you want to see the rest of her video, I'll leave the full video in the description. Her name is A Homestead Journey. Check her out. Check out some of her videos. She makes some incredible videos, and she does a lot of videos covering stuff that's happening in the US. And I like to cover things that are going on in the US, and it's honestly kind of depressing. Like, I know my life is great here, but I also have some kind of empathy and sympathy for people that are in the US suffering right now. Now, I know people say that you should only worry about the things that you control. I don't give a damn. I'm always going to be, worried because it's my home country. It's where I was raised, it was where I was born, and I don't like living in a bubble where I think that just because my life is great that other people should stop complaining. No. Listen, if there's 100 voices that are crying or that are giving their concerns or are suffering, I'm not going to sit there and downplay their pain and say, well, you need to just adapt and change and figure it out. No, it just means something is wrong with the system. If something is wrong with the system, I'm not going to sit here and just be like, well, you got to adapt and change. No, it just means that people need to speak up and do something about it. Not just sit here and just play this stupid pass the baton to the next person bullshit. No, change doesn't happen because you just decided to close the screen, close the curtains, and let somebody else deal with it. Change happens because you decided to speak up about it and maybe share other people's voices. Okay, so we have something that's deeply wrong with our country, and I'm not gonna sit here and then act dumb and pretend like, oh man, nothing's happening, nothing's going on, bro. It's hard times, man. It's hard times. We just have to keep going, moving forward, and moving forward to the trash can. Of course, yes. If the ship is sinking, just wear sunglasses, wear Ray-Bans while it's sinking, and you won't have to worry about it. But anyway, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you like the video, give a like, subscribe. If you got any suggestions or any videos you want me to react to, do some commentary, you have my email in my description. I'll see you on the next one.